Hey, what's up everyone? I've got a couple of cases up for review. In fact, 7 of my favorite for the Huawei P9. They're made by 7 different manufacturers, each with their own style and design. I've had and been using my P9 for several months now, and it's finally time to give it the attention it deserves on the channel. If you've got a P9, or not, but you want to see more videos like this, make sure that you leave that in the comments below. Now that we've got that out of the way, and before I forget, Enan here from Udroid Mania, and you're watching my favorite 7 cases for the Huawei P9. So let's get into it. First up, we've got an ultra soft, ultra thin, one-piece TPU case from Avaiation. I really like this case for a couple of reasons. First being that it's super easy to install, it's very affordable for the price conscious, it comes in black in terms of color as you see here, and it's scratch and dust resistant. It's got a nice matte feeling, but let's take a closer look starting with the bottom. All cutouts are very precise and on point. On the left hand side, there's even a cutout for the SIM-ejector tool, but the tray itself is covered, so I'm not sure why that's there. Hey, your guess is as good as mine. Up top, we've got the cutout for the noise cancelling microphone. On the right, there's the opening for the volume rocker and power buttons. You've got about a 1mm lip here for that lay on the table support. On the back of the case, there's plenty of room for the camera, flash, and fingerprint scanner, coming in at like $7 or $8. For me, this case was a no-brainer. Next, I've got the Rinky Fusion, and if you've been following the videos on the channel, then you know I get this case for almost every phone that I have. I like this one as well because it's a one-piece case. It's a bumper style, it's super clear, and made from a TPU and a hard polycarbonate back. Rinky stepped up their game, and it does come in multiple colors now, so you've got several options. Installation is amazingly easy. The phone snaps right in and the case fits like a glove. Just a quick look at the case before we move on. The Huawei P9 is a beautiful phone, and this is one of the reasons why I like this case. I think it complements the phone well. Along the bottom, Rinky does have those dust plugs, which you're either gonna love or hate. For me, I don't mind them so much. They keep dust and debris from getting in my ports, and that I think is a good thing. On the right hand side of the case, you do have a raised volume up and down button, as well as a power button. Each of them are tactile and clicky, giving just the right amount of feedback. With this case, the bezel's a little larger, it's about 2mm or so here, so pair that with a screen protector and your display is covered. On the back, there's one cutout encasing your camera and flash, with another for your fingerprint scanner. On the bottom, your Huawei branding clearly shows through. If you're wondering what this little notch is, it's part of the molding process, so there's nothing to be concerned about. Moving on, we've got the Spigen rugged armor. Another favorite case of mine and many others. It's a one-piece flexible TPU case. Just like the others before it, it adds minimal bulk to the phone, goes on in a snap, feels great in the hand, while giving you that protection you want. All things we've come to expect. So let's go ahead and get in closer. With Spigen, along the bottom of the case, the cutouts are always nice and precise, so you're not going to have any worries there. Running along the left-hand side, a thick outer casing surrounds the phone. Up top, the lone cutout for the noise cancelling microphone. And on the right hand side, you've got your volume rocker and power button. And I gotta say, I really like how this case looks with this phone. With just a tap, the power button responds. It's nice and clicky, with more of the same from the volume up and down rocker. Spigen's really done this one right. On the back of the case, I like the carbon fiber look here because it adds a bit of interest around the camera and flash. Along the bottom, you've got some Spigen branding here etched into the back with a carbon fiber chin. The only thing missing from this combo is my tempered glass screen protector, but I'll have to save the story for what happened for another video, so let's move on. Next, I've got a Lwang Avaiation Thor case. I'll say this now, I really like how this case looks. The P9 is such a light phone, and this case gives me the added weight that I'm sometimes looking for. I know that some of you have questions regarding an all-metal case. I used this case the majority of the time that I had the P9, and I can tell you that I had no major issues. Not only does this case look awesome, but it feels awesome in the hand as well. Initially I thought the corners were a little sharp, but I tell you, you get used to that. Having this case makes me feel like I have a transformer in my pocket, with its spacious cutouts for the camera, flash, and fingerprint sensor. The only thing that I will say is, make sure that you keep that little screwdriver handy just in case you want to remove the case, because you're not going to be able to do it without that. Take note of the carbon fiber padding here, as well as the corner protection. It's there to keep your phone from being scratched. Now let's take a look at the wallet case by Mulbess. It's not real leather, but it certainly gives that appearance. It's got a magnetic clasp to keep everything closed and secure. Inside the case, you're going to get 2 card slots, as well as an area to store some cash. On the right hand side, you've got your phone tray, which appears to be covered in a microfiber to help guard against scratches. Installation's a breeze as the phone just snaps right in. And here's our first look. What do you think? One of the first things I always check for with these types of cases is, does it stay closed? And is there a large gap between the cover and the display? With this layered dandy, there's no issues here. On the back of the case, I like that the camera sits recessed and that the fingerprint scanner is easily accessible. On the bottom of the case, notice the nice stitching here. I like the red accents and think that it really dresses up the phone. You've got a speaker cutout here on the front of the case, so you're not going to have to open it to take a call. Along the bottom, it's completely open for full access to your ports. You'll also notice that this case has a slight lip at the top and bottom, and this will help aid with impact. Continuing along those lines, the volume rocker and the power button, they're also left exposed, which I find pretty nice. The only complaint I could really have about this case is the fact that you can't use it as a stand, but I won't say that's a deal breaker necessarily. Next up, I've got the Pisano Me Slim fit, and speaking of a stand, this one does have that kickstand feature. It's got a rugged look to it, which I do like, but not in terms of feeling in the hand. It's a one-piece case made from a rubberized TPU bumper with a hard polycarbonate back. Out of all the cases that I've tried today, for some reason, this is the one that I like the most. I don't know, there's just something about the way it feels in the hand. As you've seen, the install is super easy, but enough of that because it's time for the tour. Starting from the bottom, I like how the TPU is in contrast with the polycarbonate, and more importantly, the fact that you've got accurate cutouts. On the right hand side, you've got a nice volume rocker and power button here, which are raised, so you're not going to have any trouble finding them. I found that the power button was a little stiff when pressed, but it does respond. And funny thing, when it comes to the volume rocker, well, it's not so stiff. I mean, you'd think that they'd have the same amount of resistance. There's nothing on the left hand side, but from this angle you get a good view of the bezel. The corners are also beefed up a little bit here, so I'm definitely feeling protected with this case. I've got easy access to the fingerprint scanner, so unlocking my phone is as easy and fast as ever. I mentioned that this case had a kickstand earlier, so let's take a closer look. Notice these tabs here? They're for locking the kickstand in place when you're not using it. I'll say that I did find these to be a bit of a challenge, but they do work. This kickstand's got a pretty decent viewing angle. I could see it easily from most seated positions, so if you like to prop your phone up, you're not going to have to worry. Last but not least, I did find this Pierre Cardin genuine leather case. It's a one-piece snap-on. It looks amazing and feels pretty good too. As you can imagine, this case is going to get smoother over time as the case begins to wear a bit. If you're worried about scratches, don't. This case has a self-repair function, which allows you to take a small cloth and wipe off your scratches. I know, pretty cool, right? Just like the layered dandy, the bottom of this case is open as well. The left side's wrapped in that nice leather. Up top, your noise-canceling mic is as free as can be. On the right, you've got the cutout for the volume rocker and power buttons, so all is well there. You also have a minimal lip at the top, as well as about a millimeter running around the perimeter of the display. If you're looking for a nice leather case for your P9, then you can't go wrong with this one. Okay, so there you have it. We've just seen 7 of my favorite cases for the Huawei P9. Each of them are protective, unique, stylish, and affordable. I got them all from Amazon, and the links are down below if you're interested, so go and check them out. If you have any questions about these cases, leave that in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, now would be the time to go ahead and click that subscribe button for more content like this. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in my next one.